Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is PixelRiffs, our writer is LoyXP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. And if you missed us last week, don't worry, we missed you. But hopefully neither of us missed the charity stream the Hermits created for Gamers Outreach, where with nerf battles and permit masters, hot sauces and hijinks, the crew managed to raise a spectacular amount for their charity of choice, all thanks to your generous contributions. We are aiming to make a special retrospective on the charity event, but since it was a massive live stream told from lots of different perspectives, forgive us if this takes a while.
Just because one's done doesn't mean there's not another.
Yeah, there's some little tiny hands in there. If you ever thought like, oh, I want to put some tiny hands on my fingers.
In the meantime, spring has sprung on the Hermitcraft server itself, bringing with it the Spring to Life update with new grass, fireflies, actual bushes, and falling leaf particles. Nature is healing in more ways than one, because we have to offer Azuma the promised million imaginary recap bonus points for taking us up on a challenge from a previous episode. It's just good to know that justice was done and balance has been restored.
Yeah, that's right. I'm easily brought. That's all it takes to get me to do a prank.
So with all that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with some news on the people who could use your support right now, which is also why they've been absent from the server. Zombie Cleo, for example, has pulled a muscle in their back, so they've been out for about 2 weeks now. Some health issues have also hit iJevin that he goes into more detail about in this week's video, and the words "worst pain in my life" have been said in it, just so you know.
I was in the ER for about 8 hours. It really just took the wind out of my sails. I ended up being on bed rest for about a week and a half.
He did at least recover enough by now to actually make that video though, so Jevin's viewers are all caught up on the Exile court proceedings, and the Resistance's further plans too. Sal the Salmonhead fans will be happy to know that Jevin will be coming back for him the first chance he gets.
So at the end of the day, I'm just really happy with how everything turned out.
We're happier to announce that Vintage Beef is back on the server, although he has had similarly difficult times, and not just because he seems to have 2 donkeys now.
And we'll continue to have a fantastic day watching this video, because I have some things That's not my donkey. This is my donkey, but I think I took all the sand. I'm pretty sure that's my donkey with the chest. Oh well, now I have 2.
Beef was looking forward to participating more heavily in the Exile storyline, but life got in the way. An ice storm left him without power, his basement nearly flooded, and all this while taking care of his wife and kid. He tells the whole story while getting some therapeutic caving done, and now that the worst is over, he's mostly disappointed he didn't get to spend more time PvPing the other hermits.
There always seems to be something that comes up and kind of stalls my momentum lately, and it is a little bit frustrating, but it's life.
It turns out Minecraft is ready with some domestic horror of its own, as he returns home to his farmhouse to find that his villager roommate has turned into a zombie and none of his wolves have eyes.
Guys, none of you have eyes? Oh. This is really creepy.
The resource pack shenanigans are to be expected now that the server has switched to the current version of the game, but it comes with plenty of useful new features too. And leave it to Azumavoid to start trying to farm those things right away.
I am actually starting to really like the bundle. It is quite useful.
The new shrub variants are easy enough, as they're just a matter of extra bone meal and pistons, but X also sets up a slime block pusher over the classic cactus farm to score the new cacti flowers. This also is the same episode where the on-toastening of beans happens, and luckily Joel is freshly freed from exile now that he's a part of this complete breakfast.
And I happen to be really hungry right now, and you know what, I could totally go for some beans on toast. I don't think I've had beans on toast in like 10 years.
Just for the record, Joel Smallish Beans' plan to return to the mainland only didn't work because by the time he's gotten an ender chest and retrieved it from his big book of Enderpearl stasis chamber coordinates, everyone else on the server also got exiled, so no one was left to activate any of them for him. Thankfully, the whole group got pardoned back to spawn anyway, so Joel is free to hang out at the fan art gallery where his fans have already filled in the spots. He actually showcases every art piece individually in his video too, so we can see the pictures in their best resolution.
Now, like I said, there were so many honourable mentions, so here they are.
As for Joel himself, he's all too happy to show his fans the new skyscraper side he has added to the Japanese mountainside, which looks like a space needle if it had gotten into the feeder a little too much.
It just looks like kind of like a radio tower in a way, which makes no sense for a mangrove farm, I know, but it just fits in rather nicely.
As the Impulse to Joel communication redstone kicks off, Grian, of all people, dips deeper into the animated redstone contraptions, lured by the trapdoor flap of Mumbo Jumbo's fans. In fact, he likes those so much, he binges one of the fans' channels and decides to bring more of that kind of stuff to his own base.
Jake Kelton Crafts about making an animated waterfall. I'm not using his design exactly, but I was inspired.
The name of the game this time is Particles, and while using potion arrows for bubble effects in the water has been done on this server before, Grian introduces extra water foam animation to his own waterfall by forcing dispensers to rapidly place and remove powdered snow behind it. The resulting drip is immaculate.
How long did this take you?
What? To make the full waterfall?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 hours?
3 hours.
Do you know how long? I spent half an hour just crafting dispensers.
Of course, now that firefly bushes are in the game, he can't let those particles get away from him either, so he and Gemini Tay depart on an expedition to the remote, unloaded chunks of the server to bring back one of every new thing added with the update, cows and pigs notwithstanding.
Maybe the
Heart of the
treasure is the
sea.
pigs.
Then they take a detour to Good Times with Scar Zoo to put googly eyes on the main gate and make it look like Beaker from the Muppets.
Perfect.
He can never take that back now. That's gonna
No,
have
I
that
don't think
face
he
forever.
can.
Oh my god,
he's
he got
here!
that!
How did he know?
Oh my god!
We summoned him!
The more helpful improvement of Scar Zoo is focused mostly on expanding the zombie apocalypse exhibit. The undead enrichment will be helped by the new abandoned apartment building, though they're not hiring yet.
That I have ever done. Why? Anyway, this was insane. Oh my gosh, what is happening?
And also some negligence has led to the chicken jockey specimen promoting itself to just a chicken, though that will at least save Scar some popcorn cleanup in the future. In the meantime, he can blow off some steam with impromptu stat poker with the regulars, where of course his death counter comes up, so that's an easy fold.
1,000 deaths!
No, keep going.
Impossible.
Keep going.
2,000 deaths!
Wow.
But I have killed Skiz at least 100 times this season.
One need not see server statistics to know that they don't want to face Cubfan135 in the Skulk placing competition. But as his base for the season is a custom biome of Skulk and minerals, you can imagine it stands out pretty significantly from the rest of the neighborhood. The solution to blending the pitch black into the general terrain ends up being a retaining wall, though Cub still meets up with Pearlescent Moon to negotiate how to bridge her base into his the best.
So, okay, so you're saying like this comes out this way, and then turns that way, and then goes that way.
It sort of mirrors the contrast between your base and my base. Like it takes a sharp turn, right?
Oh.
They ultimately agree on a tunnel, but Cub still gets his riverside wall trouble on the other side of his base, where the containment perimeter has crashed into a small haven. But with the new update, Cubfan has new material to spread across the server as he becomes surprisingly dedicated to leaf litter and insists on explaining it to his more build-oriented server mates. While you're waiting for us to string together a video about the Gamers Outreach fundraising stream, look to Joe Hills for a frankly fairly Joe Hills-centric take on the event. On the server, Joe visits the bridge the crew built on the charity stream to reminisce about doing an IRL Permit Master challenge, socking and bopping Cubfan, and flexing his Nashville, Tennessee palate for hot sauces.
Bite and smile. Hire me, chicken companies. I'm not gonna name you because you're not paying me yet.
We're also treated to a post-exile post-mortem on all the traps Cub built at Joe's base that didn't get tripped during the Permit Office's repeated attempts to banish Joe to the Farlands. On a more pleasant note, Azuma has been doing the opposite of leaving craters at Homedale, which is leaving creations at Homedale. That pixel art area is looking charmingly nostalgic.
Good places to stand do not include inside of Pac-Man's mouth.
The nostalgia continues over at XB Crafted's base, where he has dried out another ocean pit for transformation into a reference to his previous Hermitcraft seasons. This time it's Season 7's Apocalypse Escape Pod, built of a concrete palette that's pleasantly similar to the colour scheme adopted for his Ocean Monument base already. But after a trip to the art gallery so he can unveil his community fan art pics and torture Azuma with an old school approach to lighting, XB reveals that the Season 7 capsule will this time contain a general hostile mob farm, thanks to the more recent innovation of tinted glass.
Oh, it looks so good. So if we kind of pop out this way, and we look, it just, you can't even tell.
XB also invites Etho over for a Trident PvP session and a Redstone appraisal, which just goes to prove that even the old masters have plenty to learn about Minecraft's technical arts. XB even schools him in the arena, first by demonstrating how Depth Strider doesn't play well with Riptide, and then by demonstrating how XB does. And finally, there's BOO, who, if you haven't yet caught up on the end of the Permit saga, presents the entire finale in cinematic style. We haven't seen a coin flip this dramatic since The Dark Knight. And B-Dubs gets some even more satisfying redstone lighting as the donations to the Nether Hub fill up, although he isn't opposed to just buying some of the supplies himself. It's time to get building, and over 2 episodes, a Gothic gateway comprised of mostly diorite forms in the void above the Nether roof. The server population is just as awed by this as we are, and we're hanging on every word as he explains to Skizzleman how he did it.
Walls and glass to get shapes. The end.
B-Dubs isn't done there because the next segment of the wall is an angled section with a floral motif, interrupted only by the need to create his own nether portal so he can stop using Joel's, and by the need to block off the turret mobs around Scar's entrance to the Nether Hub. But the most impressive thing he's done once again is give people something to do with all the diorites they've had lying around. And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is SloyXP and my name is Pixelriffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next week.